Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's look is on this very glamorous and bold smoky eye for New Year's Eve. I'm super excited about the way that it turned out. I will say that it looks way more silver on camera than it does in person. The eyeshadow is actually a very lavender metallic shadow, but because I used black underneath it, it's pulling through way silver. I also wanted to hurry and announce the giveaway winner. Her name is April Miller. Congrats, April, and I will be reaching out to you to try to get your shipping information so we can get that to you ASAP. Thank you to everyone who entered. I have entered many giveaways in my lifetime and never win, so I totally know how that feels. It sucks, but if you guys keep following me and keep interacting with me, I'll definitely want to do more giveaways for you guys because it was kind of fun. So yeah, if you want to see how I achieved this New Year's Eve look, then just keep watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! So first things first, I'm going to start by priming my eyelids for this look, which is very, very important when you're working with dark shadows and glitter, and you definitely want the eyeshadow to last a long time. So I'm using this Anastasia Beverly Hills primer. I think it's an eyebrow shaper and primer. Going into the eyes, my transition shade is going to be the shade from Makeup Geek that I actually dropped and have tried to salvage. I believe this one is called Unwritten, and it's just a very nice pale purple kind of lavender shade. And I'm just throwing this into the crease with this kind of stiff blending brush from BH Cosmetics. And I'm trying to keep this a little bit lower than I normally put my transition color. Just because we're working with black and I just want to keep this very tight and very clean. Next, I'm just taking this matte black shade from Anastasia Beverly Hills and I'm throwing this into the crease as well, but it's going to go just below that transition shade. And again, I'm trying to keep this very tight and very clean, and I am rounding it out on the edges just slightly here, as you can see. And we're just going to work this in and keep blending, and then I'm also going to go back in with our first blending brush and continue to just make sure that's completely blended, no harsh lines, and clean that up. This look is going to look a little bit messy until it's finished. It's just how these looks go when you're working with black. A lot of smoky eyes don't look good until you're completely finished, so bear with me. And you can take a little bit of the Unwritten shade again on the brush to continue to blend that out again. One of the best things you can do when you're trying to do a bold look like this when you have hooded eyelids is try to look straight forward so you can actually see where your crease rests. That way you're not putting it in the wrong spot, so when you look up it looks different, if that makes sense. Now I'm just taking a black liner, and this one happened to not be working for me, so I do end up switching liners, but you just want to take any black liner and smudge that all over your lid. The NYX Jumbo black liner would actually work great for this because those are super creamy and it's large, so it would be a lot faster. And I'm just using my finger first to smudge that out, and then taking this brush with a tiny bit of black shadow just to further smudge that out. The reason I'm doing this is because I thought it would make our main shadow, the foiled shadow, look extremely intense, which it does, so. But you could totally skip this step if you don't want to deal with the mess and more black. Black can be scary, I am definitely aware of that. Now for the star of the show, this is the Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow. I believe it's called Daydreamer. It is a very beautiful lavender purple, and like I said at the beginning of my video, this kind of comes through more silver. It definitely is purple in person, but because of that black eyeshadow and the lighting, it was looking very silver. And I'm just going to pack this all over my lid very carefully with my finger. I just really like to use my finger for foiled shadows. I just think it applies it the best, and I have quite a bit of control with my finger. We just want to cover the base of the lid. You don't want to bring it above your crease at all. So again, I'm just going in with that goat hair brush and packing a little bit more black into the crease. We will be going in a few times with different shades as we go throughout the look, because you can start to lose each color as you add a new one. Now I'm going to move on to the face. This is just the Sephora primer. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but I'm just patting that into my pores and my T-zone. To apply foundation, I'm using my Sigma F80 Kabuki brush, and I spritzed it with some Max Fix Plus, and that's just going to help it glide on a little smoother. And I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This is definitely one of my new favorites. And I'm just going to stipple this onto the face all over. I really like the Max Fix Plus for this because I seem to not have to use as much product with that. Typically if I use my beauty blender, or if I use this brush without the spray, then I have to use at least 2 pumps of foundation, but with the Fix Plus I'm only using 1. Sorry about my voice cracking through this entire video. I still have that cold lingering, and so yeah, I just have to deal with it for now. Now for concealer, I'm taking the Urban Decay concealer in the shade Light Warm, I believe this one is. And I understand that this is a little bit light for me, but the next shade down was just too warm. So I'm just making it work, and it definitely does not look, you know, that bright in person. It's definitely more yellow than I typically like to wear. But I really like the consistency and the wear of this concealer so far. And we're also putting that in the center of the forehead, the chin, and around the nose where I've been red from my cold. And I'm just going to blend that out with my damp beauty blender, of course. And we're going to be really careful around the eyeshadow and kind of create a little bit of a straight line there on the edge just to clean it up. When I have bold eyeshadow on, I really like to do a nice intense highlight. I think it just brings it all together and kind of creates that light towards the eyeshadow and makes it stand out more. Plus, if you have any fallout, concealer will clean that right up. Now I'm taking my It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores translucent powder and setting that with a e.l.f. tapered highlight brush. I really wanted to switch it up lately, maybe try the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I've heard wonderful things about that. But the It Cosmetics has just been good to me for, you know, a while, so I haven't seen a reason to switch it up, but might have to try something new. Now I'm taking the same powder, the translucent powder, and just I'm putting it just underneath where my contour will go. Not necessarily to bake or anything, but it just helps to guide my contour and keep it nice and clean. For bronzer or contour, I'm using the Bahama Mama from the Balm. And this is just a great neutral brown, and I'm applying this with a BH Cosmetics angled brush. I don't like to use too small brushes because I don't like my contour to be that harsh, so I like it to have a little bit of fullness to it to really blend that out up onto the cheek. And of course we're going to bring this onto the temples, the nose, and the jawline to make everything match. For blush, I'm taking the Urban Decay 24-hour blush, I believe is what this is called, and it's in Rapture, a beautiful mauve tone, and I'm using a very light hand to apply this because the eyes are very bold, and so we do not want the cheeks to be as bold. And the brush I'm using to apply this is a Morphe blush brush, but I do not know exactly what number it is. I usually don't list brushes down below because you don't really need the exact brush I'm using to achieve the look. I think you should use whatever you can afford and whatever you like. Now for highlighter, I'm using the Maryloumanizer by the Balm, and just applying this with a small eyeshadow brush to the very high points of my cheeks, and I'll also put it on the bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow, and forehead. This is a great neutral shade. I think it would work on so many different skin tones, and it's just the right amount of highlight. I really have been impressed by this powder. I do also decide to use this as my brow bone and inner corner highlight. I just thought it would be nice and cohesive in the look, and it's a beautiful multi-use shade. A lot of the highlight colors that I typically use have a little bit more yellow in them, and I did not want to use that, so this was perfect. Going back into the eyes, I'm taking the Unwritten shade from Makeup Geek again, and I'm just going to give us a nice smoke under the lash line and kind of messily apply that with a pencil brush. And I'm trying to keep this kind of on the outer corners of the eye. I just think it opens up the eye a little bit more and doesn't close it off as much with a smoky eye. And I'm taking that black eyeshadow with a flat brush and putting that right underneath the lash line very tightly. And again, keeping it only about halfway under there. And then we'll go back in and buff everything out. Now going in with that foiled eyeshadow again, and we're going to put that right there in the inner corner on the other half of the eye. Then I wanted to step it up just a bit more for New Year's Eve, so I took this silver glitter liner from NYX Cosmetics, and I'm just popping that underneath the lash line right on top of the foiled shade. I'm not bringing it up over the black smoky side. Just a nice pop of glitter right there in the inner corner was such a nice touch. Now I'm applying some false lashes. These are the Ardell Glamour Demi Wispies. Feel free to use even more glamorous lashes if you want. I'm not against it at all. I am in need of some new lash glue. I have the Duo brand one, and it's supposed to dry clear, but for some reason it's not drying completely clear on my eyes, so that's annoying. Now we're just throwing on some lower lash mascara. This is the Clinique Lower Lash Mascara. Absolutely love this with its cute little wand. This is a long wearing mascara, which is why I like it, because it won't smudge down onto my skin throughout the night. Before I had this, I just wouldn't wear lower lash mascara because if I did, it would just smudge. And so I'm so glad I found this little baby. I don't know if anyone else does this, but this kind of helps me pick what color would go best with my eyes. So I'm just holding up a few here before I decide. So the shade that I decided to go with was Colourpop's Lippie Stick in the shade Tootsie, and it's got a nice glossy finish. And it was a little too nude for me, so I decided to throw on Revlon's Pink Pout lipstick and add a little bit more pink to it. Last but not least, you want to set everything in place with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. And that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching.